This is a piece that I wrote a couple of weeks ago, actually. It was probably just a couple of weeks after lockdown had started. And I was really, really thinking about love a lot. And I was thinking about what it was to me. And I felt quite upset one night. And it was a full moon. You know how I get a full moon.
Goodness.
And I had just the candles on in my living room and the lights off, and I have a skylight, and so the moon was shining down into the living room, and I was on the sofa, and I wrote this out just very quickly, poured out of me, and then I looked back at it and thought, that's exactly it. That's exactly how I feel. So this is called "What Can I Get You?" and it was me thinking about love. All right, here we go.
When you're ready, take it away, Salma.
They used to ask me what kind of love I wanted. And I told them I wanted a wild, uncontrollable thing. A beating madness that caught your breath every time you saw their name. A fist through your chest kind of love. A freight train that runs through you every time you dream about them. A love that consumes and burns. The kind that can bring a city to its knees. A nighttime love that is all passion and moonlight and swaying under stars. The kind of love that makes its own fireworks, halts traffic, runs a riot, a thundering of hooves. The kind of love that breaks all the chains and the borders and doesn't care about the boundary lines, that middle finger kind of love. The take on the world type. I told them I wanted a love that would make an altar out of me. And then I fell in love. And I learned that you can grow weary of wild things. That life isn't supposed to be lived in caught breaths. That you cannot live with a constant pain in your chest. That your body can survive one freight train running through it, maybe even two if you're lucky, but bones are brittle and will eventually break. I learnt that I was an entire city and wild men would bring me to my knees. That a love that burns will eventually turn everything to ash. That your mouth would become a graveyard where promises were buried. That broken boundaries leave broken people behind. That just because you became an altar didn't mean he would worship. That just because you're holy doesn't mean a man will bend the knees. That altars are where we go when people die too. So now, when they ask me what kind of love I want, I tell them I want a soft love, a gentle thing that washes over you the same way the sea kisses the shore, constantly and without fail. I want a love that is kind, because I've watched cruel men love good women and can't bear it a moment longer. I want a Sunday morning softness kind of love. Afternoon sunlight through the window kind of love. The smell of baking during the day love. Afternoon sunlight love. A hushed whisper and even-toned love. A love that never raises its voice because we are always kind. A sit with your grandma type. A calm love because we cannot live in constant storms. A country village type where the fields are always green even when the weather is grey. A church bell type, a call to prayer type, a hymn, a hallelujah, a nasheed type. A kind of love that is divine because it knows we have submitted to one another and there is nothing between us but cherry blossoms that will always bloom. I want a love that is just like a cherry blossom and a slice of cake and my mother's embrace, which is all to say, I'm looking for a love full of all the soft things in this life because there's nothing admirable about hard men, not when I've seen so many women break against them. We are looking for some of the softness we gave away. That's it. I'm going to give a look.
You better.
A little bit.
Because I'm in my feelings right now.
There we go.
Wow. Can you give me a moment, Salma? Because you know what, you've taken the floor, and I'm hoping our listeners aren't so blown away as I am right now of one, how you constructed that poem. Because that's another thing that we don't always notice, right? Is the construction. Understanding how you served us good.
What do you think about it?
That's good. There we go. The way you had the freight train part about, and then later at the end when it broke through you more than twice. Ooh, Then the altar line. I was gonna interrupt you. Lucky I wasn't driving today. I was gonna interrupt, you know.
Well, and I hope that answers your question that you asked me earlier about what is love.
And when you said soft, I got it.
And
I got
that's
it.
soft.
My memory
safe.
ain't that bad.
Yeah,
See?
there we go.
The
That's
things that
soft
matter.
safeness. But that was what you're saying, and you are here on BBC Radio London with me, Salma El-Wardany.
Hey, come on, Salma. You can't just leave it like that.
We're moving on.
All right,
We're
and your
moving
boy
on.
Lionheart. Okay. Ooh.
And we've decided